23andMe has sold its gene testing business to Regeneron, a DNA drug manufacturer. This transaction has been highlighted as demonstrating that genetic data is valued at $17. It has been reported that 23andMe has sold its gene testing business to Regeneron, a DNA drug manufacturer. This transaction has been highlighted as demonstrating that genetic data is valued at $17. It has been reported that European investments labeled as green are actually holding billions in fossil fuel companies. In France, a Senate report has revealed that the government concealed a scandal involving Nestlé's mineral water, with the company allegedly profiting over €500 million from the fraud.
A recent study reveals that all living organisms produce a subtle glow that ceases at the moment of death. A research indicates that humpback whales give birth significantly further south than was previously believed. Furthermore, scientists have discovered an almost complete dinosaur skeleton, with its skin remarkably well preserved. Capital One has successfully finalized its acquisition of Discover. Klarna has reached a milestone of 100 million customers, but this achievement is overshadowed by a significant increase in losses, as more consumers are unable to repay their loans. In response, the UK is set to implement a legal overhaul to regulate buy now, pay later lenders.
The Chicago Sun-Times published a summer reading list that included entirely fabricated books. A Japanese minister stepped down after admitting he doesn't purchase rice because he receives it complimentary. According to U.S. officials, new intelligence indicates that Israel might be planning a potential attack on Iran's nuclear facilities.
After nearly 10 years of development, Microsoft has decided to make the Windows subsystem for Linux available as open-source software. In a significant move, France has become the first government to officially support the United Nations open-source principles, with 19 other organizations also joining this initiative. Chinese smartphone exports to the United States have dropped to their lowest level since 2011.
Belgium has decided to reverse its previous policy of phasing out nuclear energy, while Denmark is also contemplating a change in its stance on nuclear power. In a move towards improving relations with France, Germany has lifted its opposition to nuclear energy. The first utility company in the United States is applying for a permit to construct a small nuclear reactor.
China achieves a groundbreaking milestone by conducting the first ever 5G satellite-to-phone video call globally. In other news, BBC Studios is undergoing a restructuring of its production division, introducing new units focused on unscripted content and global operations. Conan O'Brien is set to make an appearance in Toy Story 5 as a new character named Smarty Pants.
Crypto.com has obtained a MiFID license by acquiring a company in Cyprus, enabling it to introduce cryptocurrency financial derivatives in the European Union. JP Morgan's CEO, Jamie Dimon, has announced that the bank will allow its clients to purchase Bitcoin. Circle is considering an initial public offering, although discussions with Coinbase and Ripple suggest the possibility of a sale, according to sources.
In the United States, Charles Kushner, who is the father of Donald Trump's son-in-law, has been officially appointed as the ambassador to France. Tesla's chief executive officer, Elon Musk, has announced his intention to significantly reduce his future spending on political campaigns. Musk has stated that he plans to continue leading Tesla for a minimum of 5 more years. It has also been reported that a recent Gulf deal-making spree has brought benefits to Elon Musk and his family. In another development, the Prime Minister of Qatar has remarked that gifts amounting to $400 million are considered normal among friends, in response to criticism regarding a jet owned by Donald Trump.
Secretary of State Rubio, in a disagreement with senators, asserts that China will not take over the United States' role in global aid. Experts caution that Trump's trade war could lead to the fragmentation of the Internet. The NVIDIA CEO claims that U.S. chip export controls are ineffective as they actually encourage Chinese technological advancement.
The European Union has reduced its growth outlook due to the anticipated impact of U.S. tariffs on its exports, which are expected to pull down euro area inflation to 1.7%, as disclosed in the EU's forecast. The shipments at the port of Los Angeles decreased by 30% in early May following the implementation of Trump's tariffs. Furthermore, General Motors has ceased exporting vehicles from the United States to China in response to escalating trade tensions.
Apple might allow users in the European Union to switch from using Siri to other voice assistant options. Fortnite has returned to iPhones in the United States. The Spotify app for iPhones now provides a convenient way to purchase audiobooks.
France has prohibited Telegram's founder, Pavel Durov, from entering the United States. Durov has claimed that the head of French intelligence requested him to censor conservative voices from Romania on the platform. In the U.S., the Securities and Exchange Commission has filed charges against Unicoin and its leading executives, accusing them of orchestrating a $100 million massive securities fraud. Furthermore, Genesis has initiated a lawsuit against Digital Currency Group and Barry Silbert, alleging fraud and insider misconduct in a $3.3 billion cryptocurrency dispute.
The World Health Assembly has approved a groundbreaking pandemic agreement aimed at enhancing global equity and safety against future pandemics. England is set to introduce the first-ever gonorrhea vaccination program worldwide. In the United States, the FDA has increased the stringency of COVID vaccine requirements, mandating trials for healthy adults and planning to restrict COVID shot approvals to individuals aged 65 and older, as well as those with medical conditions.
Microsoft's head of AI security unintentionally disclosed Walmart's AI strategies during a protest. Apple is planning to make its AI models accessible to developers, hoping this move will encourage the creation of innovative applications. Builder.ai, a UK technology company supported by Microsoft, has entered insolvency.
Giant crustaceans could occupy over half of the ocean's deep floor. Jupiter used to be double its present size and possessed a significantly more powerful magnetic field. The location of your flirtation is important. Recent studies indicate that the environment influences romantic outcomes.
Russia is considering a prohibition on Game of Thrones and Harry Potter due to their alleged promotion of a child-free ideology. An Italian court has ruled that two mothers can both be listed as parents on a child's birth certificate. In the United Kingdom, the Office for National Statistics reports that net migration decreased by half in 2024, reaching a total of 431,000.
Trump incorrectly asserts that Australia is being overwhelmed by white South Africans escaping genocide, and unexpectedly confronts the South African leader with the accusation that Afrikaners are being persecuted during a televised Oval Office meeting. South Africans commend President Ramaphosa for maintaining composure under Trump's attack, and the South African president responds to Trump, "I'm sorry, I don't have a plane to give you." 3 days prior, The Washington Post reported that Trump intended to challenge the South African leader on genocidal rhetoric. The image of deceased white farmers that Trump referenced was actually from Reuters footage in Congo, not South Africa.
A Palestinian minister has announced that 29 children and elderly individuals in Gaza have died due to starvation. Israel is reportedly getting ready to launch a swift attack on Iran if the nuclear negotiations led by Trump collapse. In response, Iran's top diplomat has indicated that special measures might be implemented to protect their nuclear facilities from Israeli aggression. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has stated that Trump's plan for forced displacement is a prerequisite for ending the conflict in Gaza, and he has also refuted any rumors of a disagreement with Trump.
A study has uncovered that AI chatbots can inadvertently disclose information on hacking and drug production when they are compromised. A judge has dismissed claims that AI chatbots possess free speech rights in a legal case concerning a teenager's death. Furthermore, the U.S. court has decided that both Google and Character.ai must confront a lawsuit initiated by a mother who alleges that the chatbot played a role in her son's tragic death. In another development, the U.S. House of Representatives has approved a 10-year pause on the implementation of state-level AI regulations. Microsoft has reported that 394,000 Windows computers worldwide have been compromised by the Llama malware. The Llama infostealer malware operation has been disrupted, leading to the seizure of 2,300 domains. In another development, researchers have released 2 billion Discord messages that were scraped and made available online. In the United States, Senator Wyden has expressed concerns that senators were not informed about the surveillance activities targeting their phones.
Chinese researchers have demonstrated the viability of the U.S. Air Force's Mach 16 engine concept. 3 months prior, they constructed the world's first jet fuel-powered engine capable of achieving Mach 16 speeds. In a significant development, Germany has stationed permanent military forces in another nation for the first time since World War II, with MERS marking the inauguration of a historic German brigade in Lithuania and advocating for increased security expenditures. Pakistan and India have reached an agreement to withdraw their troops by the end of May and to reinstate the renowned border ceremony.
Turkey's President Erdogan has expressed that he lacks any desire to seek re-election. Among the 144 items set to be auctioned are Abraham Lincoln's blood-stained gloves from the night of his assassination, with the proceeds intended to settle the foundation's debts. In the UK, there is a proposal to implement chemical castration for sex offenders as part of prison reforms, and prisoners may become eligible for release after completing 1/3 of their sentence.
Amazon is issuing refunds for returns that date back as far as 2018, even though it never received these items. In Panama, Chiquita has terminated the employment of thousands of banana workers who were on strike, citing financial losses amounting to $75 million. The U.S. Department of Transportation has verified an order by former President Trump to remove truck drivers from the roads if they are not proficient in English.
Google is integrating Gemini AI into its Chrome browser. Apple is developing glasses for release in 2026 as part of its AI strategy, while deciding against creating a watch with a camera. The chatbot Arena Group has transitioned from an academic initiative to a startup valued at $600 million.
Infrared contact lenses enable individuals to perceive their surroundings in complete darkness, even when their eyes are shut. Brembo has engineered brakes that produce minimal brake dust and experience reduced wear. NASA's Mars Perseverance rover captures a self-portrait while a Martian dust devil passes nearby.
The Central Bank of Turkey maintains its inflation prediction for the end of 2025 at 24%. In response to the effects of U.S. tariffs, China has reduced its primary lending rates to unprecedentedly low levels. After a period exceeding 2 centuries, the United States government plans to cease the production of pennies.
Trump is contemplating the possibility of privatizing Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Investors worldwide are selling off bonds due to concerns about fiscal stability following a U.S. credit downgrade and the impact of Trump's tax legislation. In the United States, a plan is underway to provide newborns with $1,000 in Trump bank accounts.
Homeowners in the southeastern United States might face hurricane-related wind losses that are almost 76% greater by the year 2060. In Antarctica, penguin guano, the poop, plays a significant role as a source of aerosol particles that are pertinent to climate. A study has shown that clownfish manage to survive heat waves by reducing their size.
A researcher has discovered a vast collection of 184 million exposed login credentials for major companies like Google and Apple. In the United States, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, has revealed that the Russian GRU is actively targeting Western logistics entities and technology companies. Reuters has reported that a hacker who infiltrated a communications app used by a Trump aide has managed to steal data from various parts of the U.S. government. The CEO of Replit, an AI coding startup, predicts that in the near future, companies will no longer require the services of software developers. A Microsoft employee was unexpectedly dismissed after 25 years of dedicated service on their birthday, prompting their wife to share a heartfelt post. Furthermore, an internal memo from Meta indicates that the company is preparing to evaluate a larger number of employees as performing below expectations.
Millennials are offering recession advice on TikTok, providing Gen Z with guidance on how to navigate economic downturns. We don't panic. We prepare. Meanwhile, in Argentina, President Milei has issued a decree that further restricts the right to strike. In Denmark, as the retirement age is set to rise to 70, making it the highest in Europe.
The releases of Avengers, Doomsday and Secret Wars have been postponed to December 2026 and 2027, respectively. A live-action film adaptation of the popular game Elden Ring has been announced. Furthermore, George R.R. Martin and Lion Forge are set to produce an animated feature titled A Dozen Tough Jobs.
The United States has initiated its first evaluation of a deep-sea mineral lease in 3 decades, located near American Samoa. Pakistan's minister has announced that the country will provide concessions to U.S. companies regarding mining investments during upcoming tariff negotiations. Ghana plans to increase its small-scale gold mining production by a factor of 2, anticipating an annual revenue of $12 billion.
An analysis reveals that the wealthiest 50 families in the UK possess more financial assets than the bottom half of the country's population. In the United States, a staggering $54 trillion is expected to be transferred to widows by the year 2048, with over 95% of this wealth being inherited by women. It has been reported that Trump's Gold Card visa program is not successfully attracting affluent Chinese individuals, with concerns about safety being a significant deterrent. Donald Trump Jr. suggests a potential candidacy for the U.S. presidency. Trump enjoys a meal with prominent holders of meme coins, dismissing any ethical worries. Crypto billionaire Justin Sun claims to be the largest owner of Trump's meme coin and plans to attend a dinner with the former president, where the average cost per seat exceeded $1 million. It is reported that Trump has gathered $600 million in political donations and aims to reach $1 billion for the midterms to strengthen his agenda. There are comments suggesting that Trump believes it was foolish not to capitalize more on his first term, and he is now making up for it.
A report indicates that while hate groups in the United States are decreasing in number, their impact and influence are increasing. A French government report claims that the Muslim Brotherhood movement represents a threat to national cohesion. In Germany, authorities have detained 5 teenagers suspected of planning right-wing extremist attacks.
Disney has released the initial preview of Zootopia 2, announcing its release date for November. Kieran Culkin has been cast as Caesar Flickerman in the upcoming film, The Hunger Games: Sunrise on the Reaping. Furthermore, Melania Trump has utilized AI technology to narrate a 7-hour audiobook, capturing her voice.
Solana regains attention in the tokenization arena as R3 collaborates with major banks to utilize its infrastructure. The Wall Street Journal highlights that significant financial institutions are considering a collective entry into the cryptocurrency sector through a shared stablecoin initiative. The Wall Street Journal notes that shares of Apple, Tesla, and Nvidia will soon be available for trading as digital tokens on the cryptocurrency exchange Kraken.
According to Reuters, the owner of OnlyFans is in discussions to sell the platform to an investor group for approximately $8 billion, as indicated by sources. Telegram has achieved a profit of $540 million, even as its founder encounters legal challenges. Nike is preparing to increase its prices next week and intends to resume selling its products on Amazon.
In the United States, regulatory authorities are currently conducting an investigation to determine if Media Matters engaged in collusion with advertisers. ProPublica has disclosed that over a dozen officials in the U.S. government sold their stocks prior to the market experiencing a significant decline due to Trump's imposition of tariffs. Furthermore, the Trump Organization has initiated construction on a golf club valued at $1.5 billion in Vietnam. The Wall Street Journal has announced that Publicis is expanding its efforts in influencer marketing by acquiring Captive 8. Netflix is launching an interactive reality series titled House of Streams, in which streamers and content creators will compete for Bitcoin. Furthermore, Disney Plus is making an entry into the women's football market by securing the rights to the Champions League. The first report from the MAHA Health Organization in the United States urges a re-evaluation of medications, processed foods, and pesticides. Former President Trump has made the controversial statement that autism must be artificially induced. The FDA in the United States has broadened its warning regarding the potential risk of heart side effects associated with COVID-19 vaccines for young males.
China is planning to contribute $500 million to the World Health Organization, filling the void created by the United States' withdrawal. The leader of Mexico is convinced that the relationship with the United States will remain favorable following Donald Trump's election victory. In Japan, Ishiba emphasized the importance of investment, not tariffs, after engaging in a telephone conversation with Trump prior to the third round of discussions.
BYD has surpassed Tesla in electric vehicle sales in Europe for the first time. China's Xiaomi has introduced an electric SUV and a new chip, aiming to compete with Tesla and Apple. In the United States, the Federal Communications Commission, FCC, has decided to prohibit Chinese laboratories from testing American technology if they are considered security threats.
Trump is insisting on obtaining a list of Harvard's international students as he intensifies his conflict with the university, and he is considering redirecting $3 billion in Harvard's grants to trade schools. This move has been noted as potentially disrupting the studies of Belgium's Princess Elizabeth, due to a proposed ban on international students at Harvard. Japan is urging American colleges to admit students from the U.S. following the Harvard ban, and the U.S. has paused new student visa interviews in anticipation of implementing social media screening.
The Wall Street Journal indicates that immigration is the sole factor sustaining California's population growth. Rubio argues that preventing deportations to South Sudan could negatively impact humanitarian efforts. In the United States, the Department of Justice has requested the Supreme Court's permission to expedite deportations to nations where immigrants lack connections. Furthermore, ICE is utilizing a nationwide AI-powered camera network, as revealed by data.
In southern China, severe rainfall has resulted in the tragic loss of 4 lives and left 17 people missing due to landslides. In Australia, New South Wales is experiencing unprecedented flooding, with 3 fatalities and 1 person missing. The region is also being hit by a dangerous dust storm following the record-breaking floods. India's monsoon season has commenced 8 days ahead of schedule, marking the earliest start in 16 years.
Google's recently launched AI video tool has inundated the internet with lifelike video clips, prompting publishers to criticize Google's AI mode as the definition of theft, with discussions about opting out taking place. Medium has made a bold prediction, stating that 99% of AI startups will cease to exist by 2026. There are reports that authors are inadvertently including AI prompts within their novels.
A recent study has discovered that only a single nation on the planet is capable of producing all the food it requires for its population. The scientists have issued a warning that by the year 2050, rising sea levels could potentially lead to the flooding of millions of people living inland. Furthermore, a groundbreaking study has uncovered that a hospital superbug possesses the unique ability to consume medical plastic.
In Germany, the administrative court has ruled that cookie banners must include an option to reject all cookies. Putin has suggested that services such as Microsoft and Zoom should face restrictions in Russia. The European Union is conducting an investigation into 4 prominent pornography websites as part of its digital regulations aimed at protecting children.
A warning has been issued about a deadly fungus that poses a threat to potentially millions of people as it continues to spread throughout Europe. A recent discovery reveals that certain popular beers in the United States contain forever chemicals at levels exceeding those set by the Environmental Protection Agency. Furthermore, a 5-year forecast predicts an increase in deadly heat waves, wildfires, and the breaking of temperature records.
Valve CEO, Gabe Newell, is set to launch his company's first brain chip this year, which is a competitor to Neuralink. Apple is planning to introduce a specialized gaming application shortly after the release of the Nintendo Switch 2. Square has initiated live Bitcoin transactions during a live event.
Taiwan is taking strict measures against public employees who possess identification and residency from mainland China. The CIA once operated a Star Wars fan site as a covert means to communicate with informants. In the United States, the Federal Communications Commission, FCC, has reported that Chinese technology remains integrated into the infrastructure of rural internet service providers.
The Sudanese military has reported the discovery of numerous mass graves in Khartoum state. Bono has urged Hamas to release hostages and halt the conflict, while also calling for Israel to be freed from the leadership of Netanyahu. Donald Trump has advised Netanyahu to steer clear of actions that could jeopardize the Iran nuclear negotiations. In the United Kingdom, a significant number of people were injured when a car drove into a crowd celebrating Liverpool's soccer victory. The police have apprehended a man in connection with the incident and have dismissed any possibility of terrorism.
U.S. intelligence indicates that Putin is still optimistic about Russia's eventual triumph in Ukraine. Trump has reportedly become more lenient towards Putin as Russia's military advantage diminishes, according to officials. However, Trump has labeled Putin as crazy and foresees Russia's collapse because of the Ukraine conflict. In response, Russia has suggested that Trump is experiencing emotional overload after his remarks about Putin's actions in Ukraine.
High-quality OLED displays are now equipped with integrated thin and multi-channel audio capabilities. In June 2025, NTT Docomo will be discontinuing all its emojis after 26 years of use. WhatsApp has officially launched a version specifically designed for iPads. People who identify as atheists in nations that are predominantly secular still tend to have natural inclinations that lean towards religious beliefs. What is the most effective method for chopping onions without shedding tears? Recent studies indicate that using thin, sharp knives is crucial for reducing the amount of tears produced. In the Messel pit located in Germany, a remarkable discovery has been made, a fossilized cicada that is estimated to be 47 million years old, marking the first of its kind found in this area. An increase in trade-related crimes, attributing this rise to the fraudulent activities encouraged by Trump's tariffs. According to Malaysia's Prime Minister Anwar, Timor-Leste is set to receive full membership in the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, in October. A groundbreaking study in evolutionary biology reveals that rice can develop cold tolerance without undergoing any alterations in its DNA. Researchers have discovered that the presence of backyard feeders has led to changes in the shape of hummingbird beaks. Findings indicate that a rise in sedentary habits is linked to neurodegeneration and a decline in cognitive function among older adults over a span of 7 years, even when they maintain high levels of physical activity.
The head of the FDA under Trump proposes that individuals with diabetes should enroll in cooking classes as part of the MAHA agenda. The United States and Argentina are initiating a new alternative to the World Health Organization, following Argentina's decision to leave the WHO, coinciding with RFK Jr.'s visit to Buenos Aires. RFK Jr. has eased his commitment to identifying the cause of autism by September.
Renault is utilizing its Shanghai location to create electric vehicles aimed at international markets. In Germany, a court has sentenced executives from Volkswagen to imprisonment due to the Dieselgate scandal. Researchers have established a connection between Dieselgate and approximately 5,000 premature deaths annually in Europe. Tesla's leader in self-driving technology has acknowledged that the company is trailing by a few years behind Waymo.
Elon Musk made an exception to South Africa's black ownership regulations to allow Starlink to operate there. South Africa is set to propose a deal to Musk for Starlink before his meeting with Trump. A month prior, South Africa dismissed Musk's assertion that Starlink couldn't operate in the country due to his race, as he had previously claimed. In the United States, DOGE, along with government agencies, has terminated 200,000 federal government credit cards after discovering nearly $40 billion in spending associated with these cards. Musk expressed disappointment with a big, beautiful bill, stating it undermines DOGE's efforts. TikTok videos are being used to distribute infostealer malware through clickfix attacks. China and Taiwan are exchanging accusations regarding cyber attacks, with mainland China claiming that Taiwan is supporting cyber attacks on 1,000 sensitive targets. OpenAI's O3 model has assisted a researcher in discovering a zero-day vulnerability in the Linux kernel's SMB stack.
There has been a significant increase in service disruptions on Elon Musk's platform X, following a fire incident at a data center located in Oregon. In response to these outages, Musk has expressed his commitment to concentrating intensely on his companies. Adidas has issued a warning regarding a potential data breach, which occurred due to a hack targeting their customer service provider. Google has highlighted that quantum computers could potentially make it 20 times simpler to break Bitcoin's security.
The U.S. military is adjusting its communication strategy in Africa, advising allies to be ready to rely more independently. Trump claims the Golden Dome missile system will cost Canada $61 billion, but it won't have to pay if it becomes the 51st U.S. state. Canada has declined Trump's offer to join the missile defense system without cost. King Charles III warns that Canada is encountering unprecedented threats as Trump suggests annexation. A report indicates that a PLA attack on Taiwan is considered unlikely but not impossible with Trump in the White House.
AI-driven weather predictions might fail to detect severe storms. Louis Vuitton is set to establish a luxurious flagship store on Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills, designed by the renowned architect Frank Gehry. HYBE is planning to sell its entire ownership in SM Entertainment to China's Tencent, as Tencent expands its presence in the Korean music industry in preparation for a significant move into the China K-pop market.
HBO's upcoming Harry Potter series has selected actors to portray the iconic characters of Harry, Ron, and Hermione. In other news, Peppa Pig has welcomed a new sibling, baby Evie, following Mummy Pig's recent childbirth. The popular animated series Cocomelon is transitioning from Netflix to Disney+.
France is actively urging European countries and the United Kingdom to acknowledge the statehood of Palestine. In response, Israel has cautioned Europe that such recognition could lead to the annexation of the West Bank. A source indicates that Norway is likely to dismiss demands for its wealth fund to impose a comprehensive ban on companies operating in Israeli-occupied territories. Peru has initiated a war crimes investigation against an Israeli soldier after receiving a complaint from a non-governmental organization.
European airlines such as Lufthansa, British Airways, Air France and KLM are reducing flights to major U.S. cities like New York, Miami, Los Angeles and Chicago to meet the high demand in Canada, Mexico, Brazil, and the Caribbean. Trump's tariffs have reportedly brought China to the negotiating table and temporarily stopped the India-Pakistan conflict, as officials informed a court. In a related development, Pakistan, China and Afghanistan have pledged cooperation on security and economic matters at a meeting in Kabul, with Pakistan reaffirming its commitment to China despite the ongoing tensions with India. The U.S. State Department has warned that American citizens are at a significant risk of wrongful detention in Venezuela, noting that more U.S. nationals are currently detained there than in any other country.
A Chinese laser has achieved the remarkable feat of reading tiny letters, as small as sesame seeds, from a distance of 1 mile, effectively shattering the dream of espionage. India has given the green light to a stealth fighter program in response to escalating tensions with Pakistan. There have been remarks suggesting that Trump's proposed Golden Dome initiative is unlikely to succeed, yet it could potentially increase